Alright guys, in today's video, of course we are doing the look that I am wearing right now, and I wanted to keep things really fresh and easy and simple for this look because this is the makeup I will be wearing for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. My plans are to go over to my mom's house and we're just going to celebrate with family. We're going to have some really good food and drinks, and for those kind of occasions, I just want to look my best, but I don't want to look overdone. So I'm doing a really simple eye with really glowy, beautiful skin. I'm going to be using the Clé de Peau the foundation. My review should be up on this one, and spoiler alert, I've been loving it. I'm using the Chantecaille line eyeshadow because I feel like this is the perfect golden bronze, but you can use anything that you have in your collection. I just wanted things to look natural, but this is also going to photograph really well if you are planning on taking photos for your holiday season. But again, I just think Christmas time and the holiday season is about spending time with those that you love. So I don't want to make the focus on spending 2 hours getting ready. I wanted this to be quick and easy and that anyone can accomplish. We're only using I guess technically we're only using one eyeshadow and a bronzer, so it's easy for anyone to recreate. If you're a beginner, if you're advanced, anyone can do this. It will look good on anyone, and I hope you guys enjoy this look. Don't forget again to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Ring the bell so that you're notified of all my new content. And please leave your comments down below. I appreciate it so much. I love interacting with you guys. You guys are the best. And have the happiest holiday season, the merriest of Christmas if you celebrate. And I appreciate all you guys so much. Let's just get straight into the look. When I think of the holiday season and spending time with my family, I definitely want to go for more lighter makeup, just something really easy that I can put together fast just so I can get back to the festivities and spend that time with my family. So for this, we're going to keep it super simple, and I'm just going to go in with one shadow. So for this, and I think this is the perfect holiday color, this is the Chantecaille Luminescent Eye Shade in the shade Lion. These are fully in stock on Holt Renfrew if you're Canadian, but I think there's some still available. There's definitely this color available. First, I'm going to pin my hair back so you guys can see a bit better. And then what I'm just going to do is, again, super easy peasy. I'm going to take this shade directly onto my fingertips because I just like how these apply with fingers. So I'm just going to press this all over the lid. Oh. You guys, this is the perfect golden bronze for the holiday season. I'm starting in the center of the lid where I want that most of the sparkle and the pigment to be, and then I'm going to blend it into that inner corner and the outer corner. And with this color and how, like, my approach in applying it is that I kind of want to get it up into the crease area. I just want this to be kind of fluffed out everywhere so it looks really gorgeous and just diffused all over the eyelid. And then I am going to go in with my bronzer that I'm going to be bringing along. And I'm just going to take a tiny bit, and what we're going to do, just because I want to add just a little something and I just like the look of bronzer on the eyes, it ties everything together. I'm just going to run that on the outer corner first and then just blend it through the crease, just so that glitter is a little more diffused. And again, you can be messy with this because this is just a super simple eye look. And I am blending it all the way across the crease, so we can get a bit of definition there. So even though this eye look is super simple, I would probably recommend doing your eyes first, just because these do have those little glitter particles in them and they do kind of fall down onto your face. But I mean, it's totally optional. You can totally get away with doing your face first. And then what I'm gonna do before we apply mascara is just take a little bit of Lion onto a little pencil brush. This is the Wayne Goss 20. And we're just going to apply this all the way across because I want to add that glitter and that golden bronze onto the lower lash line too. I've said this about these shadows before, but they're the perfect mature glitter. They're just very reflective and beautiful, and they're a very soft glitter. And then I'm just going to clean up because, again, these do create some fallout. From here, I'm going to go on and add my mascara combination. I'm going to use the Dior, this is 3D Maximizer. I'm going to apply a coat of this and then 2 coats of the Mercier Caviar Volume, and then we will be back to finish the face, or do the face. We now have mascara on, and we are going to move onto the face, but before we do that, I just kind of want to re-intensify that sparkle because I kind of want the sparkle to be kind of sporadic and a little more messy. So I'm going to go back in with my Chantecaille Lion eyeshadow, and again, take it on my fingers, and I kind of just rub it in between my fingers. just to get the same pigmentation on each finger. And then I just dab, and I'm kind of bouncing my finger back and forth from starting at the middle and then bouncing from inner corner to outer corner. You can sweep on the product too, but I just like the way it looks on top of mascara, just kind of sporadic this way. And I kind of want to bring it up a little bit into the crease too. Just again, I don't want a very precise eyeshadow, more like sparkly application. I kind of just want this to be a little more diffused all over the eye. I've already gone ahead and applied my Tarte Timeless Smoothing Primer off camera just because you've seen me apply it 100 times, and I just apply it right in my porous areas where I want to reduce the pore size, just pressing that in. And I'm going to go in with a little more of a hydrating foundation. So I'm going to take my Milk Hydro Grip Primer, and I'm just going to take a pump of that and then apply it onto my skin. And this is kind of similar to the Sisley primer, and that you can feel it getting tacky as you apply it onto the skin. And I just love it. So again, I like to do this kind of afterwards, get that blood flowing. I'm gonna move into concealer now. I'm gonna take my Giorgio Armani Power Fabric, just because I feel like it will be easier to take in my travel bag than my Charlotte Tilbury, which is such a mess. And again, I want my makeup application to be quick to apply on like Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And I don't know, that one is just harder to use. And then per usual, going in with my Beauty Blender sponge, and we are going to blend that in. Just pressing. I like to let this concealer sit for about, I don't know, 20 seconds before I go and blend it in, just because this is such a thin consistency. The more you let it sit in, it will add a bit more coverage because, I don't know, it kind of like sinks into the skin more. But you don't want to let it sit there for too long, otherwise it will just look dry under your eyes. Again, I want my skin to look perfected, and we're going to be taking photos on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So I'm going to go in with my Sisley. This is the Blur Expert Powder. And I like to take it just on a buffing brush. So this is a Wayne Goss. Oh my god, I think the number rubbed off. I'll leave it, oh no, it's a 13 brush. So what I do is I take a bit of that powder and I just press it into the skin. I find that you get the best, appearance when you press the powder into your skin versus buffing it in. Maybe that's because my skin is dry again, and buffing just accentuates all the dry texture. But we are going in with a more hydrating foundation, and I love how this looks over those foundations, especially when they're lighter coverage. Surprise of the century, I am going in with my Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. I mean, this just needs to happen, especially on a special occasion. And again, I don't know if your family is like this, but you are in close proximity with one another and you are usually taking photos, and it's just a special event. And then I'm blending in with my sponge. So again, I like to go in the areas where I want a bit of glow. So these are areas where I would apply my highlighter to, like my powder highlighter. But I apply them in a larger area because it does add a bit of coverage, but it really does shine through your foundation as long as you are using a light amount. And then I don't highlight my jawline, but I do like to bring it there because this product adds a little bit of pigmentation, or a little bit of pigment, and it helps. I don't know, I feel like it looks lighter when I apply a thin layer of this and then apply a thin layer of foundation on top instead of applying like a medium amount of foundation on my jawline. This is just a very skin-like product. So it helps to go over any areas you have a bit of pigmentation. And again, because I just love how this looks, I'm going to take my Chantecaille Radiance Gel Bronzer. This is the perfect cream bronzer to travel with because it's so slim and sleek and it's not going to take up a lot of space. So I just take that on my palette. I take it on my MAC foundation brush. I believe this is the 170. And I stamp it onto the areas I want to bronze up. Again, I like to do this under foundation because I feel like you get a more natural result. And then you also, when you go in with your powder product, you don't have to apply as much powder bronzer. And I just feel like, again, you retain a very skin-like texture, which I'm a fan of. I know it's a lot of products being used on the skin, but because we're using such light amounts of each product, it looks more natural. Moving on to foundation, we are taking the Clé de Peau The Foundation. I believe by the time I film this, my review will have been up. So I literally like take a little dab in my little pot. That's probably not the most sanitary, but I swear I sanitize my hands before, and I place it on my palette. And I don't know why, but I like to mix my foundation kind of into an even thin layer onto my palette. And then I like to dip my beauty blender into that. And I'm probably only going to take a third of that amount. And I work in thirds, so I don't want to take that full amount. It probably equaled out to about 2 pumps. Oh, and I sprayed my sponge with this just because this is the Too Faced Hangover Spray. And I just like to take that and press that onto the skin. I like to start with a really small amount of product because obviously you can see that I applied that Flawless Filter and the cream bronzer, and it already gave my face such a great, it gave my face a lot of great definition. And I feel like I just don't need to apply that much foundation once I have that definition onto my skin. I apply way less foundation this way. And again, I don't cover up the areas where I cream bronze, or I go over very lightly just to blend out the edges. And I just love how this looks on the skin. And I'm going over where I still see, again, I like a little bit of pigment to show through because then it shows your skin texture, and I think it looks really pretty when you can see a little bit of pigmentation and your freckles. And if you have a pimple, I don't know, I don't mind that redness peeking out just because it makes you look natural. And then I bring that excess product that's remaining on the sponge down to my neck and my ears because again, I want to bring that same texture down there so it's not such a harsh difference. The powder is the Givenchy Prisme Libre. I hope I'm at least getting better at my French as I've been saying these names out loud. And first, pressing out the creases under my eye, using that opposite end of the sponge, sweeping that excess product. You will need to Windex your desk after this, but I just want that light amount of product, and I'm pressing more in my pore area to start and then slowly bringing it up to the lower lash line. And then I do like to press out here on my outer corner where we kind of cleaned up that shape because it softens it, and we don't want like a really harsh line, obviously. While we are here, I'm going to take a bit of this powder, and I'm going to, oh gosh, I got too much. I'm going to dump it in here, and with my big fluffy brush, I'm not going to take all that powder because that was way too much. I'm going to apply a little bit and get it on to kind of more the tips of my brush. Apply that excess onto the back of my hand here, and then we're just going to press that into the skin, onto the areas that I want to set and where I don't want any shine, and I want to reduce that appearance of texture and pores. This really does a beautiful job of that. I've said it in my November favorites, but this reminds me of the Charlotte Tilbury powder in like a loose form because it does really reduce that appearance of texture and pores, and I love it with the Clé de Peau The Foundation. Now that we have the under eyes set, let's just go ahead and finish off the under eyes. I'm just going to go into the highlighter I'm using, and I'm going to use the Anastasia M Resi. I know this is sold out, but you can use any champagne highlighter. And we're just going to apply that to the inner corner or the inner tear duct of my eye. And then I like to bring the excess product just on the inner, like 18th of the eye. That's a little too precise, so I don't know about that. And I want to make this quite bright because the eyes are very simple. Another thing I'm going to do with this highlighter is kind of bring it about a third of the way across the lower lash line because I want that really ethereal effect here. Another thing I've decided to do is take a bit of that highlighter just on the tip of this brush. This is a MAC 228. And from that inner corner here, I'm going to kind of bring it up to meet that transition color. Again, I want this to be really ethereal and almost messy. I mean, this doesn't look very messy, but I just really want that brightness on the inner corner of the eye, and I want to just layer that over the transition so it's going to make my eyes look kind of more brighter and wide awake. It's all kind of just going to blend into each other, but there is going to be that more reflection in this area. To finish off the lower lash line, we're going to go back into that bronzer, and I'm going to just start at that outside corner and work it inwards to meet that highlight that we applied on the lower lash line. And I'm not going to bring it all the way to the inner corner. I'm bringing it just to meet where my eye color starts. And then we are bringing it to that outside corner so it all flows. Putting bronzer on your eyes is just an easy way to get that monochromatic effect where everything, I like a look that flows together. And anyone can do this because you're using your bronzer and your favorite shimmer shade. I just went ahead and added some brown mascara on my lower lashes. I like to use a brown mascara because it keeps the look really soft and doesn't look too dramatic or intense, especially because our eyes are so soft. Now we are going to move into the bronzer, so we're going to go back in with that Tom Ford bronzer. And again, this is the ultimate bronzer, so it's a bit of that, it's almost like hard pan, and you have to use a bit more of a dense brush, and you have to be a bit more heavy-handed. And I've said this many, many times, but using these gel textured products really leaves you with a more skin-like appearance. I'd say this is very similar to my Chantecaille bronzer that I'm using as my mirror, but I like to travel with this one because I feel like those gel formulas, it's so much harder for them to break, and they just travel really well. For the blush, I'm going to go ahead and use the Chanel Elegance blush. Again, I feel like this packaging is pretty sturdy, so if I'm not really traveling, I'm going in my car and driving like 20 minutes. But when you put it in a makeup bag, it does kind of wobble around, so I feel like this packaging is protective enough that this blush won't break if I bring it with me. So we're just gonna go in with that and apply it on the cheeks. And I also love this color. It's the perfect neutral blush that's not going to be overwhelming, and it's going to suit any look that you decide to do. I love my luxury makeup for special occasions. Do you guys have any Christmas traditions or anything? I'm so excited. I am going to my mom's house, and we do like a Christmas Eve kind of dinner just with our family, and then we do Christmas dinner, of course, with our family. While we're talking about this, I'm going to go in with the highlight. I mentioned the Anastasia and Resi. Use whatever highlight you would like to, but again, I feel like this travels really well. And it's that gel formula, so it's really hard to break. But then on Christmas morning, my sister and I kind of have a tradition where we kind of wake each other up, whoever's up earliest. And then we open up our stockings, and then we kind of do a family breakfast with mimosas. And it's just, I love family time. I think it's so important, and my family and I are really close, so I'm very excited this year. Yeah, but I want to hear if you guys have any traditions. Do you do like the typical dinner? I don't know, if you're in a relationship, do you guys alternate families? I love hearing people's traditions. We're just applying this to the high points as always. And I'm going a bit more glowy because, again, I like that glowy skin for special occasions, and it will look really good in photographs. I completely forgot about this step, but I'm going to take my Tom Ford Gigolo Eyeliner. So this is a very light gold, and we're going to apply that into that waterline. I want this to be a really beautiful golden glow look. And I love how this opens up and brightens up the eyes. I'll kind of show you a little swatch, although I feel bad wasting that product. I don't know, maybe you can see it a little bit if I hold it back. Oh, you can see it if I hold my arm back a little bit. I just love this shade so much. I'm going to go ahead and buff with the Chantecaille. This is the Eclat Dew face powder. Just because this is easy to travel with and it's a gorgeous powder. I used it in my holiday try-on video. If you guys haven't seen that, I will link it. But it's just a beautiful buffing powder. And again, we want all our products to be seamless, and I want to keep that gorgeous glow. And I feel like when you buff this one into the skin, like it does look a little shimmery off first inspection, but just, it's so gorgeous as a buffing powder. I'm gonna pick up more Chantecaille stuff because I just feel like it's such an underrated brand. And I'm so happy with all the purchases I've made. Lips, I'm going to start off with Charlotte Tilbury Hot Gossip. I was debating doing a red, but then I realized, I don't know, for Christmas and Christmas Eve, you just want to be around your family and enjoy good drinks and food, so a nude is the easiest to maintain. It's perfect for eating and drinking. It's not a high maintenance lip, so I figured this would be the way to go. So first I'm lining and filling in my lips. I definitely want this to be more of a nude lip look. So I'm taking my Becca, I think this is the Sugar Ultimate Lipstick, and I'm pressing that onto my lips. The lipstick is so creamy, and it's a creamy opaque lipstick that, again, I like to dab on, but it's not too thick and it doesn't dry down in a weird way, so I love this one. But what I like to do afterwards is push my hand a few times, or you can blot it with a paper towel just because that's probably easier to do, just to get off any of that excess product. Again, I don't want it settling into my lip lines as the night goes on because I don't want this to be a high maintenance lip. And then I'm just gonna go over top with a gloss. So this is my Pat McGrath Love Potion. Sometimes I'll just kiss that excess off again because I don't want product to be settling in and I want just a thin layer of everything. Since this is more a special occasion and I want my makeup to last really well, but I want it to look more natural. I'm going to take my Dior Air Flash Radiance Mist and I'm going to put it all over the skin. This is just such a perfecting mist. It honestly makes your skin look more airbrushed, so I like to use this for special occasions just because I feel like I run through it too quickly if I would use it on a daily basis. But that is the final look, guys. I really hope you enjoy how this look came out. I wanted to keep things looking really fresh on the skin. Now I know we used a lot of product, but I use really thin layers of product. I use a very small amount of my cream product and then my powder product because I do want my skin to look like skin. And looking at this in a mirror, I can see my freckles through. I can see a little bit of pigmentation. I mean, obviously, it doesn't look exactly like my skin. I definitely look like I have a bit of makeup on, but it's not too overwhelming. It's not too dramatic. You don't look cakey in the slightest. And I love the Lion eyeshadow too. The Chantecaille Lion eyeshadow is the perfect bronze for this season. And I just hope you guys enjoyed this video. I wish you guys the merriest of Christmases and the happiest of holidays if you don't celebrate Christmas. I'm sending positivity your way this time of year. I really appreciate the support, guys. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Ring that bell so that you're notified of all my new uploads. And don't forget to leave your comments down below. Let me know what you are doing this Christmas. If you don't celebrate, just let me know what you're doing. And I will see you guys in my next video.